Good afternoon, everyone. If you are interested in watching our Magellanic penguins get lunch, head on over to the June Keys Penguin Habitat. We are about to enter the exhibit and give our birds their second meal of the day. We also have 3 very young penguin chicks about to hopefully come out of the water and eat. They've been swimming around a lot, but we just added our 3 penguin chicks that hatched out this May. This is their first day on exhibit. So we're going to see who wants to eat. I'm going to get off of the mic while I'm feeding the birds because we feed and record every fish that the birds eat. Some of our birds have not gotten a chance to eat today, so I have to pay some extra attention to them. But definitely come on over to the June Keys Penguin Habitat and watch our penguins get some lunch. Good afternoon, everyone. It looks like our birds are done with their lunch, so I have an opportunity to talk to you about what's going on out here. Today is a very big day for our 3 juvenile penguin chicks. One of them is facing you guys at that viewing window right now. We currently have 3 Magellanic penguin chicks on display. So our exhibit now houses 23 Magellanic penguins. The 3 juvenile penguins hatched this past May, and today was their debut, their first time in what we call the big water of the exhibit. So they're learning to navigate and hang out with all of their buddies and their parents. They're very comfortable with each other. They knew that there were other penguins around, but they didn't quite know where. They've been living behind the scenes for a while. So they're ready to go. They're right in front of you guys right now, getting a nice look at them. Come on, Winnie. Come on. And what I'm doing right now is I'm encouraging them to come up to the bucket and eat. I got one of our chicks to eat a fish, but the other 2 would rather hang out in the water, and I don't blame them. This is their first day being out here the whole time, so they are really fitting in quite well with the rest of our colony. We give our birds 2 types of fish, herring and capelin. Herring tends to be the favorite around here, except one of our birds, her name is Whatever, she only eats capelin. So if you offer her a herring, she will spit it right back at you. Now these guys love to eat their fish whole. So what we do is we give them a vitamin every single day, but we just stick that in the operculum or gill opening of the fish. And if you take a look at the bird on my right, your left, he kind of has an interesting mohawk going on right now. His name is Anderson. He's going through what's called a yearly catastrophic molt. Floyd and Paddles over here on the other side, they're also going through that, but they're helping each other out. That's called allopreening. What they're doing is they're preening, or they're taking care of each other's feathers. They can't really reach the back of their head, although it looks like Heidi's done a pretty good job on the back of Andy's head. He has an interesting pattern going on there. It's nice. It's a good relief for them, and it also helps preen or organize those feathers. Magellanic penguins go through something called a catastrophic molt. In fact, all penguins go through this, but this catastrophic molt is the way that these birds replace their feathers once a year. Magellanic penguins and all penguins use the feather structure to keep them dry in the water. But when you're a Magellanic penguin, you can migrate 1,000 to 3,000 miles a year, and your feathers become very worn. So naturally, they start to come out of the water, but before they come out of the water to molt, they bulk up ahead of time. So some of our birds are still bulking up for molt, some are getting ready to molt, and some have already completed their molt. This bird up here, her name is Lily. She's 3 years old. She is getting ready to molt. So her flippers are very, very swollen. She's very engorged with blood, and she probably has some poop on her chest because she hasn't been swimming in the water too much. Now behind Behind Shim here with his mouth open, that's whatever. Whatever is currently going through the molt, and Shim is just preparing for that molt. They're a pair. They're actually 2 years apart. Whatever is our oldest bird at 16 years young, and Shim is 14. In fact, I'm going to try to offer whatever a fish. She was eating a whole bunch of fish, but now she's molting. So if she were in her natural habitat, she'd basically be on land right now fasting, replacing all of those feathers. So let's see if she wants anything to eat. Good afternoon, everyone. If you're just joining us, we're finishing up a feed for our Magellanic penguins. It is the second of 3 feeds up for the day. They get restaurant quality herring and capelin. And we just added our 3 new penguin chicks to the habitat. They're all over 100 days old and they are fully grown. Penguin chicks are actually fully grown at about 120 days old and they live on their own. This is their first full swimming in the water right now. We'll be back out here at about 3:45 to 4 to feed them one more meal of the day. It'll be interesting to see if our youngsters want to come out of the water or if they want to stay in overnight. Good afternoon, everyone. If you take a look inside our habitat, you will notice 3 very cute additions. They are our juvenile penguin chicks that hatched this past May. There are 3 chicks out here. 2 of them are Roxy and Floyd chicks. Roxy and Floyd are an awesome pair. They've had 7 out of the 13 chicks that hatched here at the Aquarium of the Pacific. And our other chick is Kate and Avery's 3rd chick. And they're doing a really good job navigating the exhibit. This is their first full day out here, so we're very proud of them. They're now big birds. Male and female both incubate the egg and brood or raise the chick. But as the chick gets older, both parents will go out to sea to forage for fish and walk a couple kilometers inland, feed their baby. And then eventually they will leave their chick on its own, and the chick has to find their own food. So at this point in life, these birds would be on their own. Although we like to think of them as babies, they are juvenile penguins. So when they're first hatched out, they're about 80 grams, and about 100 days later, they weigh about 7 to 8 pounds. So they do grow very, very quickly. Magellanic penguins spend over 3/4 of their life in the water. So if you take a look at some of our birds, they're actually going through what we call a catastrophic molt. They replace their feathers once a year. It is not a very fun process for them. They actually spend about a month ahead of time bulking up. Then they molt, they stay on land for a few weeks, and they have a brand new set of feathers. They go right back out into the ocean, and they are able to capture their prey. The feather structure itself is what keeps these birds dry, but they also have something called a uropygial gland or a preen gland that secretes oil, and that helps condition their feathers. But if they go through this catastrophic molt, they don't preen their feathers. They basically just sit there for a few weeks and let all of those feathers come out. New ones take their place. So if you take a look right in the middle of the beach, that bird, her name is Whatever. She is going through a molt right now, and right behind her, there is a bird that has completed his molt. His name is Admiral Fancy Pants. So take a look. I love his name. But take a look at his feathers. He has a beautiful set of feathers. He's nice and waterproof, and he's going to go in the water and see how all that water is beating on top of his body. That feather structure itself is what keeps these birds dry in the water, but that preen gland helps condition them. So kind of look at Whatever, who's replacing her feathers, and Admiral, who's already gone through that molt, and you can kind of see the before and after process. Our juvenile chicks aren't going to go through this catastrophic molt until next summer. So they have a whole year of looking the way that they look like. This is what we call subadult or juvenile plumage. If you are a fan of one of our chicks, his name is Gats. He's not really a chick anymore. He looked like a juvenile until about 3 weeks ago when he molted into his adult plumage. Comes one of our chicks doing some speed swimming, but it looks like they're navigating the habitat quite well. Our 3 juvenile penguin chicks were added this morning to the habitat, so they are now a part of the colony with the rest of our 20 birds. So we have a total of 23 Magellanic penguins here in the June Keys penguin habitat. They all have a gray color. They're subadult or juveniles. Looks like 2 of them are hanging out in our underwater viewing area. Looks like almost all 3. Oh, nope. They're on the move.